keep this number in mind because Ellie St. Pierre has the meet record at a 3:58.03. We'll deal with that when we get closer to the finish of this Garden of Life women's 1500-meter final. There's a national championship on the line. The top three will get placings to return here to Hayward in just 3 weeks' time for the World Championships. Women's 1500, here we go.
You know, Lee, every single woman after the prelim said they expected this final to be fast. They expected it to be hot, but that means someone has to go to the front and take it. And so will one of these athletes sort of sacrifice themselves to get this race going? And as we see right now, they are off the line quick, and now they are bunched. And this is when it gets dangerous. This is when you see people trip up and you see people fall down.
Helen Schlachtenhaufen was one of those looking around, kind of jostling for positions, and there's a lot of looking around at the moment. Who's going to take the front? Who's going to set the pace? Who is going to set the mood for this Garden of Life women's 1500-meter final?
And we're going to see here, I see Carissa Schweitzer from the Bowerman Track Club. She won the 10,000 meters here. She is the U.S. champion at 10,000. She is already qualified for the World Championships, and she is running this to work on her speed. She's a 4-minute 1500-meter runner, but she's done it with even pace. I don't think she wants to see this thing lag too far behind. She's also expected to come back in the 5,000 tomorrow.
And by the way, she said, don't expect the triple. There's not going to be a 1,500, 5,000, 10,000. I'll focus on the 5 and the 10. And to your point, this will help me work on the speed. Here comes Ellie St. Pierre.
You know, St. Pierre got pushed around last year at the Olympic trials and did exactly this. Said, I'm not going to mess around. I'm going to go to the front and take this. And we see moving up in the back. We see Schweitzer going with her. We see Sinclair Johnson has attached herself. And also we're going to see Heather McLean. She trains with St. Pierre. They are teammates, and she was the indoor national champion earlier this year. She's had COVID and was out of it for a little bit, but ran a 2-minute 800 all by herself, proving her fitness is there.
Don't discount in the yellow top, 5th in the line, just on the rail, is Nikki Hiltz, the 27-year-old from California. Nikki said, I want this to be a fast final as opposed to a tactical one. I really enjoyed the semis, so let's make this a fast one. I'm up for it.
You know, they all were expecting a fast one, and they are a little behind from what we would consider a very fast pace because they started out slowly, but we see it starting to crank now. We see the separation happening. We see the pack that was once so bunched start to string out. And Lee, seeing Schweitzer there is so crazy. She is the 10,000-meter American champion. She was an Olympian at 10,000 meters last year. And to see her sitting there in second place right off of St. Pierre is really something to see. She believes that running these 1500s will help her get to that top 5 in the world and help her have that kick when it comes down to it at the end of the longer distances.
And believe it or not, Carissa said last year, even though it was an Olympic year, she didn't feel quite herself. She said she's feeling much fitter at this stage of the season, feeling better coming into these national championships with the Worlds just around the corner.
Well, she had Achilles surgery, and it looked like it went well, but here comes Corey McGee. She knows this is left too long. We can't have all these women sitting around, and you see them moving out slightly into lane 2. Now we have the 4 in front. They're getting ready for their kick. Heather McLean needs to close that gap. She's fallen off a little bit. She needs to move up in there as this pace starts to pick up.
And Corey McGee tucked in there, all in blue. And there is Schlachtenhaufen as well. Helen is in the mix, sitting in 6th at the moment on the bell lap.
We can see them running 3 abreast right now. Corey McGee knew she needed to get that pace going. She needed to get that kick started. And she's moving up now. She's going to take the lead and try to burn this out over the last 250 meters.
What's St. Pierre got? Sitting 3rd at the moment. Her and Carissa Schweitzer are going with it.
St. Pierre does not look like herself, but I'll tell you, Sinclair Johnson is the one with the kick. We heard about it in college, and here she comes now, perfectly timed to move alongside McGee.
The 24-year-old is going shoulder to shoulder. Sinclair Johnson, Corey McGee, Carissa Schweitzer in 3rd. St. Pierre is going to struggle here. She got to kick it home to get into the top 3, but it's going to be Sinclair Johnson. Carrie, you called it right before the gun went off. Sinclair Johnson is going to win this Garden of Life 1500 National Championship. 4:03.26 over Corey McGee. And Carissa Schweitzer, was it her or St. Pierre? But Sinclair Johnson steals the headlines.
Sinclair Johnson was so good in college. She went to a program that was a little bit more strength-based. She never really felt comfortable there. If we look back here, we see McGee said, there's too many people here. There's too much of a chance for a fall. I have to break this open. So she went down the backstretch. She went for it. But the only person who zeroed in on her and stayed focused was Sinclair Johnson. And if you see, Cory McGee is pumping so hard, but look how relaxed Johnson looks. She was just waiting for her moment. As we see now, she comes off the turn and she powers away, but she looks so relaxed. And this is a good lesson for athletes everywhere. Know your body, know what you need. She knew the program she was in wasn't right for her, so she made the bold choice to change groups, go to a group that gave her a little bit more speed, and now she's national champion.
And her first national title, Sinclair Johnson. Great work over Cory McGee, and Ellie St. Pierre did hang on ahead of Carissa Schweitzer to finish in the top 3. But let's show you all of the results of that Garden of Life Women's 1500 final. Heather McLean in 5th, and then Schlachtenhaufen, Emily Mackay and Danny Jones. But